Hello, students. Today we are going to learn Chapter 1, that is Nature and Purpose of Business, Part 2. In the last session, we saw and we had a basic understanding about business, profession, and employment. Now let's learn more about business into detail. First, let's understand that what is the objective of business. Firstly, the main objective of business is market standing. A business enterprise must aim at standing on stronger footing in terms of offering competitive products to its customer and serving them for their satisfaction. I told you in the last session that the major aim or the objective of business is to earn profit and to satisfy the needs and wants of the consumer by providing the goods and services which they want or which they like according to their taste and preference. Now, in order to survive into the market for a longer period of time, it is very much important that you satisfy your consumer or customer and serve them the goods and services which they prefer. So one of the main objective is market standing. The second objective is innovation. Every business requires innovative ideas if they want to survive in the market for a longer period of time. So innovation is the introduction of new ideas or methods in the way something is done or made. Now, there are two kinds of innovation in every business. Either you bring new ideas or innovation with related to your product or with related to the skills and activities which are needed to supply them to reach the end consumer, or the techniques or technology, that is what we call it. The another objective is productivity. Now, productivity is calculated by comparing the value of output. Output means the total amount of production which is done by the company for that particular financial year. So productivity is calculated by comparing the value of output with the value of input, and it helps you to measure the efficiency. Like, let's say, for example, if I have invested 10,000 in business, 10,000 is my input. So my output should be such that I earn more than 10,000. So if I'm earning by investing, if by investing 10,000 rupees into the business, if I'm able to earn 40,000, which means that I'm earning profit. There is efficiency in all the resources which I have invested. The next objective of business is physical and financial resources. Now, the business enterprise must aim at acquiring these resources according to their requirements and use them efficiently, which means there should not be wastage of any resources, be it human resource or be it any of the physical resource like machines, tools, equipments. The next motive is to earn profit. Every business, this is one of the major and one of the most driving force for any businessman. So profitability refers to the profit in relation to the investment. Now, the next objective is manager performance and development. Every business enterprise need managers to conduct day-to-day activities, to coordinate all the resources, and to coordinate all the activities in the business operations. So various programs for motivating these managers need to be implemented by business. Workers' performance and attitude. Now, workers' performance and attitude determine their contribution towards the productivity and profitability of any enterprise. So, every enterprise must aim at improving its workers' performance. If any of the manager feel that workers' performance is not matching with the standard performance, then immediately corrective action should be taken so that there is no loss of resources. Next is social responsibility. Social responsibility means, or it refers to the obligation of business firm to contribute resources for solving social problems and work in socially desirable manner. In the first session, I had mentioned that every businessman should work according to the ethics, which means that they should also have a sense of responsibility, which means responsibility towards the society, towards the people who are working within the organization, and external also, because the business operation should not be such that it affects the environment or the people or the surroundings of the society. Now, what is business risk? The term business risk refers to the possibility of inadequate profit or even losses due to uncertainty or due to any unexpected events. Now, when we say unexpected events, it could be anything. Like, let's say, for example, there is a famine or there is a drought, or like what we were facing few months back, that is lockdown due to COVID-19. Now, that also affected hugely to all the businessmen. So there are certain uncertainties which are not avoid which cannot be avoided. So business enterprises constantly face different types of risk. One, it is speculative risk, and the other one is pure risk. Now, what is speculative risk? It involves both the possibility of gain as well as the possibility of loss. Like, let's say, for example, change in demand and supply, change in taste and preference of the consumer. Next one is pure risk. It involves only the possibility of loss and no loss. That is chances of fire, theft, or strike. So either there is a loss or there is no loss. Now, when we talk about the nature of business risk, they of course arise due to uncertainty. Risk is essential part of every business. If you cannot take up the risk, then you can never start a business. So, business, when we talk about business, risk is an essential element of every business or every form of business organization. Next is the degree of risk, which depends mainly upon the nature and size of the business. If the business is a very small, or it's a small scale industry or a small firm, then the risk which is involved is also small because the investment would be less as compared to larger form of business. And profit is the reward for risk taking. Now, what are the causes of business risk? What are the reasons of these business risks? The first is natural causes. Human beings, we as a human being, we have a very much little control over natural calamities like flood, earthquake, lightning, heavy rain, famine. So all these do affect our business or the functions of business. Second is human causes. Now, human causes includes any unexpected events like dishonesty, carelessness, negligence of employees, stoppage of work, strike, riots, management inefficiency. All these are the human causes. Third one is economic causes. Now, these includes uncertainties related to demand for goods, competition, price, collection of dues from customers, and change of technology or method. Like, let's say, for example, if there is a sudden change in technology, then your company or your business firm becomes outdated in terms of technology, and you won't be able to compete in the market if you don't advance your company or you don't implement advanced technology. So all these are the economic causes of business risk. And when we talk about other causes, there are certain unforeseen events like political disturbance or mechanical failures in the company, like, let's say, bursting of a boiler or fluctuation in the prices. All these may lead to business risk. Now, whenever a person wants to start a business, there are certain things which have to be kept in mind. There are certain basic facts which you have to decide on when you want to start a business. So, what are those things? First, for starting a business, you need to select the line of business. That is, you have to choose as to you would like to enter which branch of industry or commerce which has the possibility of greater amount of profit. So all your decisions will be influenced by the consumer or customer requirements in the market, and also the kind of technical knowledge that you possess. So first you have to select the line of business, whether you want to go in for cement industry or garment industry, or whether you want to go into the manufacturing of bags or water bottles, etc. The secondly, size of firm. Now, your size of firm would depend on the amount of investment which you are able to. If the entrepreneur is confident that the demand for the proposed product is going to be good over a time, then he can make the arrangement of necessary capital for business, and he will start the business on a large scale. But if you know that the market conditions are uncertain and there are risk which is very high, then a small size business would be a better choice. Next one is choice of form of business or choice of form of ownership, which has to be kept into mind. Now, this is with respect to ownership, business organization, whether you want to start a business on sole proprietorship or on a partnership basis or on joint stock company. So the choice of suitable form of ownership will depend on all these factors, like your capital requirement. If I have more capital, then I can even start a business as a sole proprietor. But if I don't have much of a capital for investment, I need people who can, start a business with me in partnership so that my capital investment can be shared. Then I'll go in for partnership. So the choice of form of ownership depends on the various factors like capital requirements, the liability which you want to take, the legal formality, and the amount of risk which you are ready to take. Next one is location of business enterprise. Now, this is an important factor which has to be considered at the start of the business, because any mistake in this regard can result into high cost of production. So you have to be very careful as to which location you are choosing. Next one is financing the proposition. Now, financing is concerned with providing the necessary capital for starting a business. Or you can say in simple words that how are you going to arrange the capital? How are you going to arrange money? Are you going to invest from your own self, or are you going to borrow? Now, borrowing again, it depends. Are you going to borrow from uh, different sources, like let's say for example commercial banks or financial institution or relatives, etc. So financing again has to be taken very carefully. This financing decision requires again the picture about what kind of business you want to start and the amount of capital which you want to invest. Next one is physical facilities. Now, it includes machine, equipments, tools, buildings, which are all, in short, all the factors of production which are required to start a business. And next one is your plant layout. You also have to decide as to, the entrepreneur should draw a layout plan showing all the arrangement of all the facilities of all the resources, be it land, labor, or capital. So it means the physical arrangement of machines, equipments, raw materials which are needed to be for a product to be manufactured. Next one, you would also need competent and committed workforce. So every enterprise, they want a competent and committed workforce so that they can perform various activities smoothly. And businessman should also keep in mind about the tax planning. So the founder of the business has to consider in advance the tax liability under the various tax law and what would be the impact of those taxes on business decision. So this tax planning also has to be taken care while starting a business. Next one is launching the enterprise. Now, after the decision related to the above mentioned factors have been taken, the entrepreneur can now go ahead with the actual launching of the enterprise, which would mean that all the resources which you have you're going to mobilize them. You're going to fulfill the necessary legal formalities and start the business. So these are the things which are required or which have to be kept into mind while starting a business. Thank you very much.